Hello again. Today I'd like to take a look at an interesting piece of fuzzbox history. This is a Carlsbro Fuzz pedal, which is a great old germanium fuzzbox from the early 1970s, which was marketed by the Carlsbro company but actually built by Sola. This is effectively a Sola Mk3 tone bender, so it's an interesting piece of the tone bender lineage, if you like. We can assume, of course, that Carlsbro must have made a deal with Sola where they built pedals for them. Carlsbro have taken this away, sprayed it up in different graphics and what have you, marketed it as their own pedal, but it is built by Sola. And we're going to compare this to a Mk3 tone bender, and then we're going to plug it in and hear it. It's a really nice, crazy old fuzzbox. So let's take a closer look at it. So let's begin by taking a look at the Carlsbro Fuzz pedal side by side here with its very close cousin, the Sola tone bender. This is a Mk3 tone bender from 1974, and it's of course very apparent that they have the same enclosure design, the same layout, with the volume, treble, bass and fuzz controls on both pedals, and the input and output sockets are labelled as instrument and amplifier on both pedals, so it's very obvious that they were built in probably the same factory by the same people. And you'll notice as well, if I turn them both over, they both have this base plate which you have to prise off with a screwdriver. I've already loosened them, of course. And inside you can see how pretty much identical the circuit boards are layout wise, although all the values of the components are the same. There's some slightly different type of capacitors. This one's got tropical fish ones here, for example. But same value, same layout, and one would assume the same sound, but actually not so, because I find that the Carlsbro has a slightly thicker sound, and this Mk3 has a slightly more gnarly sort of upper mid type tone. Both nice in their own way though. Let's take a closer look now inside the Carlsbro Fuzz. Just a couple of things I wanted to show you briefly. This pedal's had a couple of small modifications done. The first is this, I think it's a 10k trim pot, which replaces a fixed value resistor. That acts as a bias control, so you can control the amount of voltage going to Q3, I think, which means you can have either slightly more or less fuzz coming from this effect. You can see the previous guys left the original resistor sellotaped at the side of the case, so anytime I wanted to reverse that mod, you could do that without anything being too affected. Here across the top is a 220k resistor, which is right on the output path of the effect, and that's been bypassed by bridging this metal wire across there, which you can see underneath the resistor, which effectively takes the resistor out of the circuit and means that this fuzz is now louder than it would have been with the resistor in line. And again, that's a simple job to desolder that wire if you wanted to reverse it, that mod, and put it back to its original condition. You may notice as well that's not the original foot switch, but fortunately I've found this old arrow foot switch hanging around the house, and I'm gonna put that in there, and that'll fit in nicely. That's from the same era. So without further ado, we'll have a listen to it then, the Carlsbro Fuzz. And I'm going to try through a Marshall amp, a dual super lead 100, with a very, very slight bit of overdrive coming from the amp, because I think that sort of sounds nice with this type of fuzz. And I'm going to use a Strat with single coils, and I hope you like it, the Carlsbro Fuzz pedal.